I got Jaime and Marcel, as mentioned, in studio right now. Earlier caller talking about shambles, things that fall apart sometimes. I imagine somebody's face is going to fall apart this weekend at UFC 116. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Lesnar or Carwin? Now we got a guy 12-0, all knockouts. None of them getting out of the first round. Is that an accurate description of Shane Carwin?
Anytime you have that, though, I mean, it warrants raising some red flags, only because we don't know exactly what kind of gas tank that he has. Now, we did see in his fight against Gabriel Gonzaga last year, a year and a half ago, that even though he gets taken down, he is able to get back up pretty quickly. So his ability to get back up isn't really in question. It's just his gas tank. It's I think mentally he's ready for this fight. And I think Brock Lesnar, he has a lot going for him, coming back from diverticulitis and the surgery that he had, being out 6 months, and having to start pretty much learning all over again. But yesterday at
You think that's a plus?
It could be. I mean, from what we saw at the press conference yesterday, he was in a bit more jovial mood. He seemed to be happy being where he is again, and he actually brought in Peter Welch to be his head trainer, who's actually from Boston and is actually a boxing-based trainer rather. Lesnar's coming in as a southpaw.
Right.
As he's going to start taking his shots as a southpaw. I don't know if that change is going to really affect him, but everything seems to be clicking with him, and it's just making a really, really interesting fight.
What you got, Marcel? Where do you see this going, man?
Well, it definitely sounds good on the Lesnar side of the house.
Yeah. We need Marcel turned up over here. Marcel, up. All right, go ahead.
All right. It definitely sounds good on the Lesnar side of things, but anyone who's ever read my recaps after pay-per-view knows that I really like the Greg Jackson, game plans. Anyone coming into a fight under the Greg Jackson banner has a game plan.
Right.
And the Jackson camp hasn't lost since Chael Sonnen beat Nate Marquette, and that was about 3 or 4 pay-per-views ago?
I think so, yeah. That's, he
You were dating it in pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That was
it's hard to do so, yeah.
That was 3 pay-per-views ago, man. Why you gotta bring up old stuff?
Because I think it's relative to the course. Because we know, as Jaime was saying, Carwin, if he goes down, he gets back up. He's a former Division II wrestling champion. He can take a punch. When Gonzaga tagged him, Gonzaga broke his nose. Yeah. And, he was still, ready to fight. And also, he's a native of Colorado, so you have to think being up in that high altitude training, that might also,
from an endurance standpoint.
Correct.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
But it is true he's never been past the first round. Lesnar, however, is bigger. He arguably stronger. He's very explosive, and he is a Division I champion.
Yes.
NCAA.
You can be like, get that University of Dayton junk out of here. Yeah, you and Meatball State can hit the road, buddy.
Yeah. But even in saying all that, I think these guys are probably the most they're 2 sides of the same coin, basically. And it could go either way.
Well, see, that brings me to the question, because oftentimes, and this goes beyond the UFC, this is in sports in general. It's like in football. You got 2 teams that love to throw the ball. Let's say the Patriots and the Colts are playing. So everybody thinks it's going to be this aerial, showdown. Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. Objective opinions galore over here. I'm just saying, everybody always assumes that those 2 teams that like to throw the ball, means that there's going to be a lot of passing. Sometimes it breaks down to a running game because they cancel each other out. Could this be a situation where Lesnar and Carwin, like you said, 2 sides of the same coin, whatever, could they cancel each other out? Could this become a ground game, a ground fight, because both guys respect and fear the other when it comes to the stand-up, that they take it to the ground, and that's how it's decided?
It's tough to see that. I really do think it's tough to see that. I think the only way this actually goes, Brock Lesnar has to really measure himself as far as his approach to this fight, because he doesn't want to get caught up in trying to finish this as quickly as possible, or in trying to just, go with a really short burst of energy, try and take the guy down and just smother him, or just, try and go for the ground and pound.
Right.
That's something that Shane Carwin, he sees the opening, he takes it. He's not exactly, looking to just end it in 30 seconds, 40 seconds. He just happens to see Christian Welch's, chin was wide open, and when he hit him, that mouthpiece was in another zip code over there. So,
but who would have the advantage
on the ground? I think Lesnar would have the top control advantage because based on what we saw he did to Frank Mir, who had started to put on more weight when they fought in the rematch last year at UFC 100.
Right.
We were able to see him apply the stockade, which is actually a move developed by, and his name escapes me, but I've seen him in a couple of seminars here in town. Very, very, Eric Paulson is his name, from Minnesota. Basically, he Brock Lesnar snaked his hand behind Frank Mir's head, controlled the wrist, and just went to town with the ground and pound there. So anytime anyone can really impose their will that way,
a good move.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it gets you the win, doesn't it?
I'm going for that one next time.